Hey guys, AnimeWestReacts here. Gonna be reacting to One Piece chapter 1156, titled Idols. So yeah, hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you do, then leave a like, sub the channel, hit that notification bell. That's what I'll be appreciated. And yeah, let's get into this. We got a cover page, color cover page of yeah, Roger Pirates. We got Luffy, Nami, Zoro, and Sanji. Frankie, yeah. All of them being like around. Just interesting. But yeah, so Roger, Shanks, and Gabon. But yeah. Back in those days, starting in the chapter before the Great Pirate Era. This is back in those days, certain idols, quote unquote, roam the seas. This says that was some pirate attack. Why aren't any of you fighting back? You guys are useless. Because they've taken everything. You men are hopeless. They were strong. You didn't lift a finger. Now what are we supposed to do? Even the Marines could not oppose this group. They were known as the Kuja Pirates, a crew that hailed from the elusive Isle of Women. A fierce and stunning pirate band off limits to men. Someone says, I grow weary of my own beauty. Day and night it always goes this way. Will I ever be free to shed it? And so yeah, we got Gloriosa, Elder Nyan, future Elder Nyan, current Empress of Amazon Lily, captain of the Kucha Pirates. So yeah, young Gloriosa. Says the picture of perfection, and then got Kyaz and Captain Gloriosa as a goddess. Says she's unbearably cute. I'm in love. Her radiance is making my mind go blank. My heart can't afford to beat this hard. That's what the girls are saying. It says, Empress Gloriosa, here are your new fan letters. And she says, Tritoma. What about all those back there? She says, oh, those are for Shaki. There is 100 times more. So yeah. Tritoma, a future Empress of Amazon Lily. So yeah. Don't know if we've heard her name. Does look familiar though. But yeah, Gloriosa says, how could she? Upstaging your own captain is a total betrayal. This is even her angry face is like an icy gem. Says, indeed, the narrator says, indeed, the only one said to outshine the radiant Gloriosa, star of her era, was none other than her first mate, Shakuyaku. And then, yeah, one of the girls says, Captain, enemy ahead. And she's like, oh, that's... says, hello, hello there. It's me, Roger speaking. And says, they say it's the Roger Pirates. Says, hand her over, Kuja Pirates. And then Roger says, today's the day we finally win her from you. We're taking your first mate, Shakuyaku. And Gloriosa says, you never learn, Roger. Isn't being loved by a woman like me enough? It says, get her. And it says, who did you come to take again? She kicks the door open and everyone yells. And it says, Lady Shaki. They say her every move was captivating. And yeah, everyone's reacting, saying Shaki is here, Shakiyaku. And says, oh, Gibbon. And she kicks at him and says, just hearing you say my name is... And then she says, long time no see, Roger. So yeah, kicks Gabon, and then Roger attacks, and he says, how dare you do that to Gabon? And then yeah, we got her just standing over him. It's like, he's like, damn it, I like Shaki too much. And she's like, you too, Roger. Or Shakuyaku. And Roger says, or narrator says, her beauty humbled even the mightiest of warriors. But yeah, she says, you should know I'll never submit to another's captivity. And so, yeah. The girl screams. Shaki says, take their treasure. And says, you can take my soul while you're at it. But yeah, she says, really? It must be so hard for you. And then he's like, yeah, I'm surrounded by idiots. And then she gives him a wink. And then, yeah. Gloriosa says, Roger, you know I'm the one who likes you, right? And he's like, out of the way, Gloriosa, you're blocking Shaki. So yeah, first mate of the Kuja pirate, Shakuyaku. Easier to just call her Shaki, so yeah. But yeah, then the Kuja pirates say Empress Gloriosa. I tried to say Emperor, that's why that happened. Says it's the Navy. And then she says, get moving with the loot, don't leave a single crumb behind. And it says, hey, at least let us keep some of the food. So yeah, they took all the food. Says we spotted Roger and Kuja pirates. And says, quit, snap a picture. It'll be worth a fortune. Knock it off. And then Roger says, hurry it up, we gotta set sail. And then yeah. Kaban says, Roger, isn't that Garp ship? And he says, what did you just say? Alright, man, new plan. And then, yeah, Garp and Roger both say, crush them. So we got, yeah. Pirate Gold D. Roger, future king of the pirates and Ace, father of Ace. And then Vice Admiral Monkey D. Garp, future hero of the Marines and grandfather of Luffy. But yeah, so they start fighting. Roger, or Garp says Meteor Fist. And then, yeah, Roger, I guess, uses Aura Mitama, and it says, translator note says, reference to a violent kind of spirit in Shinto. But, yeah, I say it just had to be Garp ship, didn't it? And so, yeah, you got Roger yelling Garp, Garp yelling Roger as they both throw punches at each other. Hockey punches. Or, yeah. Okay, so Garp throws a hockey punch, and Roger slices him with a sword. Both, I guess, are using Conqueror's hockey, but interesting, Garp is not touching Roger, it don't look like, or maybe he did. Just blew him away. But, yeah, says Roger, Garp, and Rocks. Three who would be spoken of as legends in the Great Pirate era, but at this time, their blood burned with the passion of youth. And so, yeah. Says, what the Empress Gloriosa? And then there's a and then she studs. Or, yeah. They say, what the Empress Gloriosa? Yeah. And then you hear and a thud. It says, the Kuja pirates were the height of their popularity at this time. No one could speak of this era without mentioning them. And so, yeah. Shaki says, sister, hang in there. And she says, Glorious, my heart aches. So, yeah, we see Gloriosa coming down with the love sickness. But, yeah, the Kuja pirates are just kind of in the back saying those two are so dreamy. It says, many saw them as idols, and their wanted posters fetched high prices. Stalkers taking creep shots became a daily nuisance for the crew. Soon after this encounter, Shaki was crowned empress, and her popularity continued to grow to an unimaginable level. And so now we're back at Elbaf at Edith's Tavern. It says, I saw Loki drowning after the ship capsized. He's always acting up so badly when you're not around. I honestly wondered whether I should help him or not. So yeah, Harold's back. And Harold says, sorry and thank you for saving him. Loki, pull yourself together. So Ida's yelling at the dude, saying, what the hell, you shouldn't have even hesitated to help. How would you feel if Loki had died? And so, yeah, Harold's like, come on, Ida, Loki's the one who selfishly took the ship and sailed off. And Ida says, so what? If he can just If he can just stand by and let a kid die, I'd drag him under and drown him myself 100 times over. And Loki says, I didn't ask anyone to save me. And the captain says, damn it, that's the piss poor attitude I was talking about. And Ida says, you lost your mom, and your dad's always quite busy. I bet you must get pretty lonely, right? Right, Loki. And he says, shut up, you old hag. And then she just laughs it off, says, wouldn't it be better to stay with us? And Loki and Harden both say, no way. And Loki says, I'm on to you, Ida. You're just acting all motherly, so we'll let you move into the castle, aren't you? You're just a gold digger. And then Harden yells, screw you, Loki. And so, yeah, Harl says, what you said is unacceptable. Apologize right this instant. Don't you care how Ida feels? And then she just kind of laughs and says, you kids are just too cute. You're being, Harold, I guess, says, you're being too sweet on them. And so we got this little girl saying, I hate how he says such mean things to you, stupid Loki. This motto. And so Ida says, Motto, are you crying for me? The world is full of kind and beautiful people. And Loki says, I'm sick of this goddamn country. Every single one of you is weak and dirty. I'm going to be free like Rocks. And it says, from then on, each time Rocks visited to try and recruit Harold, Loki would attempt to join Rox's crew, but he would ultimately never get his way. It says, aren't you happy? I'm going to follow him out to sea because I hate all you right back. And then we go over to her. It says, several months after the Rocks crews take over a pirate island. Say, where the hell did you come from? It says, I'm here to join the Rocks pirates. And someone laughs, says, maybe in your dreams, but it ain't gonna happen. You won't even lay eyes on them. Says the Rocks pirates are the ocean's all-stars of evil. See that fish-shaped boulder over there? That's where they said to be holed up. If you're dead set on meeting them, head that way. But the deeper into the island you go, the madder the bastards get. Good luck with that death wish. And then yeah, someone kicks the guy, says, take that. Like tries to kick him or something. I think he steps out of the way. No, he takes it. He says, And it says, yeah, that'll teach you. And then he like puts his hand out and says, yeah, grabs the dude's head pretty much, and he's like, whoa. And it's like, yeah, kill the hitman. And it's like, wow, kill the hitman. Kill the wicked future Silver Axe. It says, what's Shiki's rival doing here? The strong gathered around Rocks, and their presence attracted even stronger recruits. So yeah, the pirates on the island yelling, stay back, he'll kill you. And then suddenly there's a big old boom. And it says, what of you? Look at the scenery. Blasting a couple holes in the place was the right call after all. Ain't that right? So yeah, Zebek saying, as I was saying, there's 2 devil fruits I'm after. One of them's most likely on Elbaf. It'll only show its true power if Harold eats it. So yeah, that's how the big skull rock got its eyes, I guess. Yeah. Zebek just blowing a hole in it. But yeah, Captain John says, one of those Galera folks too. Yeah, I've heard the legends, but then we got Big Mom or Charlotte Linlin, future Big Mom, saying, I'm using all my contacts to try and track him down, but there's nothing about a frozen army of giants. Newgate/Whitebeard says, even if you find him, what good of a bunch of corpses now? What good are a bunch of corpses now? So we got Strusen. So of course, or I guess learning because Big Mom's here, Strusen is also here. He says, exactly, there's no way to bring him back. And says, shut it. We're talking about dreams. Don't be a downer. And so we got Barbell, Catfish Fishman. says, even if they did come back to life, they'd have no reason to listen to you. And then Kaido. And, oh yeah, Zebek says that's why we need Harold. He's the current king of Elbaf. And then, yeah, Kaido says, can't we just use our strength to force them to obey? Can do the same thing to that Harold guy, too. And he says, huh? And yeah, Zebek kicks him and says, never say that again, you brat. They say, calm down, Rocks. He's like, yeah. Kaido's like, why you? And it says, Kaido, stop it. We just got this island. Do you want to turn it into a ruin already? A group like this is bound to implode sooner or later, but this isn't the time. So yeah, John says, right, let's hold off on that till we cash in a little more. Get it, you horn-headed rookie? And then Zebek says, Harold's my good pal. I'll crush you if you say that crap again, Kaido. And Salen says, listen up, you lot. Elbaf is the key to bringing down the Holy Land. If any of you don't buy that, then get lost. It's your choice if you want to stand with me on the Day of Destiny. But if you got the guts, and follow me, I'll take you to the World Summit. So yeah, Rocks Pirates. The crew has formed. So yeah, big old fishman guy. Kind of reminds me of Morley, actually. So yeah, we got the full spread of all the Rocks Pirates. Looking pretty powerful. So yeah, leave a like on the video if you enjoy it. Hope you do. Sub the channel. Check out the links down below to the social medias and all that. And I'll see y'all next time. So, later.